was going to do an exercise today, but I want to cover this topic of learning harmonic material at the keyboard and muscle memory versus harmonic retention. I've seen it time and time again where I had students that had placed way too much emphasis on keyboard skills and the ability to read really fast at the keyboard. Well, actually, that's mostly just muscle memory at that point, when you're able to read something so quickly that your hands just transfer it right to the notes. That's muscle memory. When a performer reaches that stage, they're no longer actually retaining the harmonic content. They're too busy interpreting all the notes and the markings and everything straight to their muscle memory. They've practiced to get that good at sight reading to play very difficult passages. They're not really retaining harmonic content very well. That's the difference between a composer reading and a performer. So as a test, let's take this passage. Sounds super impressive technically, but harmonically it's actually very simple. But if you want to be at that performance level where you could read it at that speed, that passage, at the keyboard, you're going to sacrifice harmonic retention because it goes by so fast. But the passage is literally 1 4 7 3 6 2 5 1, but in a sequential way, creating this harmonic sequential pattern of alternating seventh chords in first inversion to root position basic triads. However, if you're reading this passage like we just played in the arpeggiated version at breakneck speeds and then going into other parts of a composition, you're not going to retain what just happened. That this is just a continuously falling pattern of this harmonic sequence. So even at speeds like this is now just muscle memory, okay? And when it comes to harmonic practice and retention, you're wasting your time when it becomes muscle memory. Slow it down. And therein lies the problem with our day and age of the keyboard writer. They're placing way too much emphasis on keyboard skills. So whenever you read a passage, like the really fast passage we did, well, here's how I would break it down if I was actually reading through it. I would take each individual part very slowly and figure out what just happened. 1 first inversion with a major seventh. 4 root position. The next arpeggiated part. 7 with a flat 7 in first inversion, 3 root position. And I just continue this process of figuring out each individual chord. And you could actually do this in your head. But I actually want to see what's going on. I'm using something I already know, but the point is I want to see what's going on. I don't want to just shred through something. So if I study this methodically, like this, very slow, if I was reading that passage, the passage becomes obvious with slow and methodical study. Just upon playing that at breakneck speeds, you will never actually have any harmonic retention, and you also probably won't figure out that it's just simply 1 4 7 3 6 2 5 1. Just doing sequentially, alternating between seventh chords and basic triads in a sequential pattern, arpeggiated. So there's the difference between a performer and how a composer should study it. Now I'll go to the original and see, oh, it's just that arpeggiated version of this sequence below, starting a little higher. Now the whole point is I'm not interested in playing this as a keyboardist. That's not even in my remote interest. I'm more interested in understanding what just happened. But doing it at breakneck speeds and wanting to be a great keyboardist will actually might even prevent you from seeing something, especially if you're a really good sight reader at the keyboard. You're actually using more muscle memory. So learn to study things from a composer point of view, meaning slow everything down, see what makes an entire passage tick, what it's harmonically made up of. Don't worry about being able to play it up to speed. That's why there's performers. They're there to perform what you've created that's very difficult to perform. And that's what they train to do. They train to interpret what's written on the page. And you as a composer need to train yourself to interpret what's on the page in a different way, in a slower way, why it works, why this dynamic change works, why these specific notes, what chord changes are making up this, what chords are making up this passage. Think about the process of writing out music. You're not writing these passages out at breakneck speed under the notation program or staff paper or whatever you prefer to use. You're actually doing it very slowly and methodically and choosing dynamics and articulations and all that. And so don't place so much emphasis on keyboard skills. There's plenty of great keyboardists out there that can't write a single piece of music. As a composer and creator, slow and methodical when it comes to harmonic studying passages, studying music will benefit you way more than keyboard skills and being able to turn something into muscle memory from reading it on a page.